Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Patrick back on A Veteran's View. And with this particular video, I'm just going to be covering finances in general, especially in relationship to a lot of this income that a lot of us are going to be receiving due to stimulus checks, um, the increased unemployment rate, a lot of what Joe Biden wants to do in his cabinet in terms of additional stimulus, additional checks, additional unemployment, retroactive unemployment. If the House and Senate and Joe Biden can all get on the same page and we can get this stuff passed for a large number of people across the US, especially people that are hurting, they're going to be getting a substantial amount of money. And unfortunately, what can kind of happen if we get this large, like I've been looking at it for my family, and just for the stuff we know, almost without a shadow of a doubt, that is going to pass, the the next round of, the $1,400 stimulus checks that are going to add to the 600 we just received to total 2,000. That right there for my family is like $8,400. Just that piece right there, if they were to do that, it's $8,400. Hold on, let me make sure my math's right. 14, 28, 56, 56, and 14. No, I'm sorry, $7,200. I was adding an additional 1,200 somewhere. Um, so for us, just from that alone, that's going to be an additional $7,200. Then we look at the next stimulus package that's being discussed, which they're talking about another round of these $2,000 payments. And they would pretty much go to the same people that this last round of $2,000 payments went to. So that by itself would be, for my family, there's five of us, so we each got 2,000. That's 10,000 more dollars. So now you've got the 10,000 plus the 7,200. That's $17,200. The $600 per week federal unemployment extension that they also want to make retroactive to when that first $600 per week unemployment benefit that we had ended, which was at the end of July. So if you're going back now, say you got the month of August, September, October, November, December, and the entire month of January, that's 6 months of retroactive. So there's two of us in our household. So I would be getting the 600 per week. So that's 2,400 a month for me. My wife would be getting the 600 per week. That's 2,400 a month for her. That's $4,800 per month times 6 months. That's almost $30,000 right there that we would be getting. So you take the almost 30,000 plus the 17,000. Now you're looking, at least specifically for my family and for your family, if you have more kids or if you have less kids, or you're married versus not married, the amounts may vary. But for my specific situation, that right there is, that's close to $45,000 for my family. And we know how we're going to spend it and where we're going to save and what we're going to pay and what we're going to do with it. So I want to make sure that I give you guys the tools that you need to make sure that the money gets, if you're, behind on bills, by all means, get those bills caught up. That should be a top priority. Nobody, especially during the wintertime, nobody wants, and their heat, their water, nobody wants any of that stuff to get shut off. So we definitely are going to want to prioritize, certain spendings. So kind of getting into this now, and to start, the very first thing you should do is get caught up on all your back due bills. That's for a number of reasons. One, if you're behind, these companies, where they make most of their money is off interest and off fees. So depending on how they're structured, you know, every could be every day, you know, more interest is accruing, whatnot. So you want to get caught up on all your bills as much as possible. Now, with the exception of, I would say, the rental assistance. If you are behind on your rent or you're utilizing like mortgage forbearance, I wouldn't spend your money necessarily getting caught up on that, because there's a separate program or two separate programs for those specific items where that money will get paid directly to either your landlord, or if it's mortgage forbearance, depending on your bank and who your home loan is through, you can have those payments added on to the back of your loan and then be brought current. So that will leave you more cash, more money that you can work with. And this can be a great start for a lot of people. You know, as bad as 2020 was, as bad as, 2021 so far has started, this can really give you a significant boost. So first thing is all back bills. Get those caught up, minus rent and mortgage. The second thing we want to do is, if you have the ability to, at bare minimum, all of your credit cards, stuff like that, at the end of every month, you will have what's called it's kind of like an interest-bearing portion. So let's say you had $500 on your credit card. But let's say your cutoff date for when your card was due was the 20th of the month. And say now it's the 26th of the month. And say you made a purchase on the 23rd of the month for $100. When you're looking at your credit card statement, it may show you that you have a balance of $500 or $600. But what you're really focused on is, what is the interest-bearing portion? So on your cutoff date, if you only had $400 on that card, that is the amount that you need to pay off. What that's going to do is that you're going to pay all of your debt that was accrued during that particular statement or billing cycle, and then whatever, and that'll prevent you from paying interest on that money. So in essence, you use the credit card, you delayed paying for your particular item or whatever you bought, and now you are making that payment to ensure that you are not paying interest on those purchases. The next thing you should look at is setting up an emergency fund. So I'm not trying to sound like Dave Ramsey, not, anything like that, because I am not a financial expert by any stretch of the imagination. I've slipped up, I've missed payments, I've got a foreclosure from 3.5 years ago on my record. So I'm not perfect by any means, but since a lot of these things have happened to me, I have done a lot of research and I've done a lot of looking into and figuring out the best ways to tackle these things. And it's a mixture of, some of the stuff may be from Dave Ramsey, but some of it may also be from, other individuals who have a different philosophy in terms of the best ways to stay out of debt and be able to grow your wealth. So you want to have a bare bones emergency fund of $1,000. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but we've got some major studies that they do pretty frequently. And this last one, I just pulled it. So we got Forbes, CNBC, and Fox. So you've got Forbes, which is primarily tailored toward money. You've got Fox, which is a more conservative media source. Then you've got CNBC, which more liberal media source. And they said that across the U.S., 60 to 61% of households across the U.S., if they were to be hit by some type of financial, some type of unexpected financial emergency, car broke down, or you got in a car accident and let's say it was your fault, you need to get your car repaired, so you have a deductible you have to pay. Or, it could be anything. A tire blows out, need new brakes. Um, it could be a plethora of things that can happen that can lead to this. 60 to 61% of Americans would have to put that emergency bill on a credit card, or take out a personal loan to pay for it, or get a payday loan to pay for that. That is very disheartening, because that's saying 6 out of every 10 adults in America would fall subject to that. So I really think this is, with how much information's out there and how easily this information can be accessed, I think there's a lot more that can be done, kind of getting people to see this for what it is. So then after that, the next thing you would want to do is move to another emergency fund. So you've got your baseline $1,000 per month emergency fund. Then the next one you want to look at is 3 to 6 months of your mandatory expenses saved up. So this is your bare bones rent, water, gas, electric, food, car payment, insurance. It's your bare bones, no eating out money, no, oh, you're going to give yourself an allowance. This is all your mandatory spending, and this is how much it's going to be. So 3 to 6 months, especially with this pandemic going on, you may never know when you could find yourself without a job. Myself in particular, I was making great money. I was making more than I'd ever made. At 29 years old, I was making $120,000 a year. We had virtually no debt, and we were doing great. And because of COVID, my employment, got terminated. So it can happen to anybody at any time. So you may want to weigh more, maybe do 4 months of an emergency fund, maybe do 5 months of an emergency fund, kind of whatever you're comfortable with. But any amount of money that you can set aside is going to be beneficial for you and your family. The next thing, that you can work on would be looking at all of your bills. So, there's going to be certain ones that this will not apply to. But let's say your car insurance, your phone bill, if you have cable, your cable bill, your internet bill, those kinds of bills. A lot of times you can negotiate with these companies. So if you were to call the company, say you had Comcast for your internet and cable, and you're just paying an outrageous amount of money, there are a lot of people that, you can call these companies. You can explain to them, like, look, I'm thinking about canceling my cable, or I'm thinking about switching to a different provider. These individuals that you're talking to that are representatives of these companies, they have the ability, and they have so many per, whether it's day, week, or month allotted, where they can give you discounts. They'll be like, you know what? Mr. Smith, we'd hate to see you go. If you stay, we can give you an additional 15% off your bill, or 20% off your bill. Now, going into this phone call, you may want to keep these services. So any amount of money that they're willing to take off is a win for you. Even if it only saves you 20, 30, 40 bucks a month. That money adds up over the long run, and it turns into a substantial amount of money. Same thing with car insurance. Car insurance is so easy to shop around for. Get a couple quotes from some other companies. Say you have Geico and you got a better rate from State Farm, and you call Geico and go, hey, You know, State Farm's going to give me better coverage and they're going to lower my bill. But I really like Geico. I want to stay with Geico. So what can you do for me to make it beneficial for me to stay with Geico? And they can work that with you as well. So, all right, sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize how low the battery on my GoPro was, and it decided to die on me mid-sentence. So pretty much what I was getting at, it is more beneficial for these companies to give you a discount, because say your bill's $200 a month, it's more beneficial for them to give you, you know, 30, 40 bucks off per month than it would be for you to leave. Because if you leave and go to another company, they are losing $200 per month of revenue. Versus if they give you a discount, they're only losing $40 a month. And they are still profiting, or they are still getting $160 a month of revenue from you. All right, guys. Well, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed my kind of broad overview of financial goals. Like I said, I am not a finance major. I am not anything other than a random guy on YouTube that's got some life experience, that's dealt with some situations that have taught me how I can better mine and my family's overall situation. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like I mentioned, this stimulus check, these different things that are looking like they're going to come through, this can give you a very, very good opportunity to make some drastic changes in your life and in your family's life. But you got to be smart with the money. Now, I'm not saying if you and your family, if you get, let's say, $30,000 between all these different programs when they all come out and get passed and whatnot, and say you pay all your debt off, say you've got your car's paid off, say everything's good, you've got your emergency fund, there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking some of that money and having fun. You know, if you want to maybe take a little trip somewhere, you know, spend a couple $1,000s here. You know, maybe there's some things around the house you needed to do. Maybe you needed to get new appliances. Maybe whatever it is, you can have some fun with this. And the nice thing is, you know, from when I covered the budgeting aspect, a lot of people worry that budgeting puts constraints on spending and prevents you from spending. And quite the opposite is true. Budgeting empowers you to spend, because as long as you're following your budget, you know that there is money allocated in a certain category. And if you have money allocated to, you know, fast food, or to buying a new video game, or whatever it is, you look at your budget and you know immediately, do I have money for this, yes or no? If you don't have a budget and you're not tracking your spending, you may not know if you actually have the money for it. The money may be in your account, but you may still have bills that have not been paid yet. Or you may have other expenses coming up that are not being factored into the total amount that you have left over out of your paychecks. So with that, as always, guys, please, 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 if you like this content, hit the like button. As I'm growing on YouTube, the more engagement I get on my videos, likes, comments, if you guys want to see more, you know, this is a part of my series of how we can, the incremental changes we can make in our lives in 2021. Specific to finances is this one. With that, you know, keep an eye out for some of my other videos that I'm going to be putting out later this week. And I will talk to you guys later.